Peace, family. Once again, this is Black Eyes TV. We're having a double whammer special Saturday where we're going to have some guys coming in at 9 o'clock today. But before we do this 9 o'clock, we've got the 6 o'clock slot. And this 6 o'clock slot is something great, something big, something enormous. As we are doing this UK-USA link-up, I'm going to introduce my brother, Richie.
That's all, people. Big up everyone on this nice, sunny Saturday. As far as we're concerned in the UK, I hope it's sunny wherever you are, USA, Africa, wherever you seem to be hailing from. Big up to you. And as Mr. Riggs said, I'm very happy for this first-time event, but long since anticipated and waited on and worked on to get this brother here. So trust me, you know, we're in for a special treat, some good information. And as I said, I'm just happy to have the brother join us. So without further ado, let him introduce himself. Look at that smile. It's award-winning. Brilliant. You understand? That's all. Let them know, brother.
Greetings, UK, all over the world, all 196,940,000 square miles of the planet. What's up? We are set. Hotep, shalom, peace be unto you, Islam, and to all my Caribbean family, since my family from Jamaica, Cuba, Irish, we are set. Como está? What's up, man? How y'all doing, Rich? And of course, Terry, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Yeah, what's been happening in New York lately, man? You know, we don't like to listen. We like to hear from the real truth of the people that are actually in New York, and you know, telling us what's going on in New York right now.
Right now, look, they say it's a quarantine, but I call it a reset. So it's a reset for those that are conscious, you know, but it's a quarantine for those that are unconscious, put it like that. And right now it's a beautiful day out here in New York. You know, I wish I could have done this broadcast from my backyard, but yeah, I was out in the sun this morning, taking in that energy, you know, like Quita 4 always do, you know, taking in that energy. We taking that energy, man. So it's all right so far, you know, so far so good. We haven't opened up fully, but people are able to go out as long as they wear their masks. Of course, that's the thing that they pushing. But you know, I'm riding my bike and doing what I got to do. I've been on reset all the time because I do my sessions a lot in my own home office, and I do my own thing. You know, and you know, it's not like I used to be in the club and all that, because I ran a nightclub for many years, and I've of course booked and performed and produced shows. I used to sing reggae. I produced shows for Buju, Barris, all kind of people. So I've worked, and you know, I'm burnt out of that. I don't do that anymore. So what I do now as far as the Numerovation, and of course still promote lectures and still promote great content on my page, like King Simon Presents on YouTube. That's what I'm into more now than what I was back in the day, you know. So hey, New York is fine, brothers. Believe me, we just have to stay focused and stay out of people's business and reset and become better individuals, just like I would say for all the brothers and sisters out there that are going through it right now, you know. So in the UK, so much respect to all the UK massive, all the London massive, all my family from out of Birmingham, Handsworth, Birmingham. So big up, big up, big up, big up. I told them I was going to shout them out. So big up to my big cousin out there. Big up Layla, aka Lillian, and her husband, and of course a lot of my family and friends that's out there, and all the reggae artists that know me from back in the day, Bitty McLean and Vivian and Don Campbell, all of them out there. Respect. If you know,
That's
Oh, fire.
right. Blue.
We go back.
Yeah, I see you was enjoying yourself in the sun on the Instagram. I was getting jealous.
Yeah. You know, it's what it is. I know it's like 6 p.m. over there. It's like, yeah, it's like 1 o'clock over here. So yeah. It's nice. It's nice over here. You know, we looking good. I know Queen is doing what she got to do. Our great Queen of Four is doing what she got to do. Dr. Melanie is doing what she got to do. You know, so you know, matter of fact, enough respect to all those that showed love to Dr. Africa, our new ancestor, and our new power on the other side. I spoke to Dr. Melody, and she really, really, really. I know you probably spoke to her also, Terry. I don't know if you got to speak to her.
Yeah,
she's really, really feeling. She's up in good spirits now. But after a month later, she's in good spirits. When I spoke to her, and she's we're preparing the memorials all over the place. So definitely New York, we're gonna lock it down. And Baltimore, and I believe the UK is going to be locked down depending on how this thing goes. So, yeah, so look out for that. We're coming.
Okay. I know one thing, Simon. I always to the public, as you know, there's some people that may not know you right now,
yes.
But I want you to give a kind of an introduction of where you are at this precise moment and what you do.
Well, I'm in Brooklyn, New York at this time, and a lot of people call me a Renaissance man because I do so many things, and I've reinvented myself so many times, especially from doing reggae music. Those who know, I used to be a reggae artist amongst the Shaggies. I went to school with Shaggy. I was a promoter I've been promoting since I was 12 years of age, because I actually was born in a club because my father opened up a club grew up in a club because my father opened up a club when he came here from Jamaica the year I was born. And I've been into the club life, the music life for so many years. So I've seen the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the to and fro's of nightclub, and then taking it to the next level, being a artist, but then getting robbed in the business of reggae. No fault of the producers. The producer at that time, is just he didn't understand the business and lost count of what's going on. But being part of that, and of course working and opening for various artists like Flower Gun, working with Sanchez, working with Shaggy, working with Public Enemy, working with people like Ice Cube, working with all the greats in hip hop and R&B, because at one time I was in various communities. I was in the Ansar community. I was in the Nation of Islam. I was in the 5% first. So I went through the Rasta, of course. That's all in my family, the Rasta community. So that's always been a culture that I've been a part of that for many years because of my family. But each one of those different communities that I've been a part of have been very helpful into the development of who I am today, through promotion, through reggae music, and also being a radio and television personality for many years here in New York City. Morning show, my own shows, underground radio, because we know pirate radio started in England, so we know what that is. So we did pirate out here in New York too, but I've also been on main radio stations, done commercials for people, for Western Union. I've done commercials for Guinness Stout and various other promoters and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have a long resume, and if people want to find out more of the brief resume, they could go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, and give a bio of all the people, at least a few people that I've worked with. And then, of course, reinventing myself into getting into the holistic and, of course, numerology, studying numerology, and creating my own system called Numerovation, which I do now, and still writing books and producing still events. When we open up, we will definitely produce some more events and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just your humble brother that's been an Afro-Cuban Jamaican, and I'm doing what I got to do, man, to stay focused. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, in the atmosphere of this pandemic, as we call it, but it's for us, it's in the conscious community. It's not really that. It's just for us to regrow ourselves back to the Mother Earth itself.
Right.
But in terms of the energies that we are feeling and what's going on around the people that don't understand.
Yes.
Give us something of an insight.
Well, you know, you had our great elder on. He don't like to be called elder, but our great Baba and teacher, Baba Lloyd Strayhorn, on, and he said something very key. And I was listening to that about the number 2020, and I come from, because I study so much, and I come from I keep on adding on. When you deal with a cycle that we're in now, according to the metaphysics science of numerology, and my focus is on numbers. He's an astronumerologist. My focus is on numbers. It's very important that we realize that the number 2 in the studies of numbers, from the amount of studies that I continue to do, because I'm forever a student, that the number 2 is one of the help numbers. And what I've realized over the years and in studying numbers, and I've been studying numbers for quite some time, is just that I decided to take this walk and actually do it, you know, and actually write books on it. But in the year that we're in now, 2020, because the predominant numbers is the 2 and the 0. And a lot of people don't pay attention to the 0. A lot of numerologists will say it's not a number and all that kind of stuff, but 0 adds potential. 0 adds infinite amount of potential, both negative and positive. So when you deal with 2020, because it's a number that deals with diet, it deals with also the stomach, it also deals with poison, but it adds up to the number 4, which is also a health number, which also deals with the health and deals with also mental health. So paying close attention to our minds in this day and time is going to be very important, only because the 22 within the 2020, on its negative, represents delusions and illusions being cast. And if anybody have studied my book or Lloyd's book or various other numerologists, you'll find that that the number 4 also rules technology, radio, television. So the constant bombardment of what we're going through, or what it appears to be, this pandemic, so to speak, and the perception of a pandemic. And I'm not taking anything away from people that's going through it, but I just want to let people know that they're constantly doing it through media and television for a reason. And because it's no coincidence that 2 + 0 + 2 + 0 = 4, that they're really going heavy. And they're going heavy on every level. I mean, they're cutting off broadcast, they're stopping, they're in between it. So this is when it's turned up. And although this so-called disease started in 2019, if anybody studies or watch me on my channel, King Simon Presents, or Brother Rich's channel, Black Magic 363, I've on myself or Lloyd always said there's a sneak peek month before anything that's coming in. The sneak peek months are the months that starts from like September, October, November, December. Those are the sneak peek months to let you know what's coming for the coming new year. So in September is when the so-called virus was starting to be seen more strongly. September, October, November, and it blew up in 2020. And like Lloyd said on your channel, it started in China, which is interesting because China do not like that number 4. That is one of their worst numbers. 8 and 6 are their power numbers, but not the number 4. So it's not, let's say it's not coinky-dink. It's synchronicity. And people got to learn to understand that things like that is synchronicity. Whether people think it's planned or not, whoever's planning it definitely studies cycles, definitely study seasons, definitely study astrology, definitely study numerology. And as a matter of fact, I had a dear teacher and a friend who transitioned named Kamati Denazulu, and he was of the Icon faith, Icon spiritual system. And he said that he always was able to tell when the CIA or the FBI sends in spies to try to study with them. Because one thing about the United States and the United Kingdom, they are about studying and knowing all the superpowers of this earth prior to them and now. They want to study it all so they can at least use it against us, because they knew those powers and these different modalities work. So in this time, I implore all of you in the UK, the beautiful brothers and sisters out there in the UK, keep your mind right, because it is a mental number. And the more you keep a dietary, holistic mind in a right perspective, in a numerovational perspective, in a motivational perspective, it will help you to get through this health cycle that we're going through. Because right now, America and the world, according to the numbers, is in the crossroads of its life. And the crossroads lasts for 4 years. And now that we're in 2020, which is a 4, then we got the 5 year, we got the 6 year, and we got the 7 year. So we got these years that we're going through this crossroads from a mathematical or numerical perspective. I hope I.
Elder, listen, we as you said, we've had your elder on, Brother Lloyd. But me and you was talking earlier, and we was talking about the differences, how you look at numerology to the brother. So I think at this point it will be helpful for you to explain the way you take it to how our elder came on and explained it from his perspective, or what he analyzes to what you do.
Right. Well, Brother Terry and Brother Rich, it's really, I'm adding on, because I remember reading an older client that was in her 60s and in her 70s, and she said, and she was born on the 14th of May, and she said, King Simon, and I listened to her. It was a session that she paid for, but I listened to her because she had something to let out, and she had some wisdom. And I tell people, if we're not willing to constantly learn, I'm not a master anything. I'm a master student. I'm ascending to be a master. You know what I'm saying? That's why Lloyd don't want to call himself a master, because we're constantly learning. I never take granted from no, I don't take nothing for granted. We have to keep on studying. I learn from children as well as I learn from elders. So this elder said to me, do you think that the numbers will evolve in its interpretation? And I said, yes. But the basis of the system of numerology, as taught by the Chaldeans, as taught by the people from India, as given to Pythagorean, because he actually got it from those places out of Africa and different places and India, they will always remain the same because they still are valid. But will it add on and spiral up? Of course it will. So remember, numerology, Lloyd blesses the world with astronumerology. And that is the best of both worlds, when nobody else would identify that they're doing. Even the people that he studied, like Kiro and all these different people that he studied over the years, they never said astronumerology. He said astronumerology, because even Kiro's book, and I like to show, I can show you, but I can tell you. I like to show people, because I like y'all to learn too, because you might be the next people that learn. This is one of Lloyd studies this person too. This one is called the Book of Numbers. He was a palm reader, and he was an astrologer and a numerologist. This man here. So I can tell you.
Who's the author of that book, brother?
I say it again.
Who's the author of that book?
This book is his name is Kiro, or Cheiro. That's his name up on the top. Or they say Shiros. Some people might jokingly say Cheerios, but no, it's Shiro. It's Shiro or Kiro. Depends on how you pronounce it. Depends on the pronunciation. So he was a master teacher of numerology and palmistry and astrology of his time. But Lloyd was the first one to come with this book, which came in different form, Numbers in You, and said astronumerology. He blessed us with the astronumerology, making the connection of the two, because he realized when he did sessions, it's very important to recognize the sign where you might have two people born under a sign that might be complementary to each other, but yet the numbers might not be complementary to each other. And that's where the friction and the problem is. Boom. So now from 2019 going into 2020, I've been promoting Numerovation, and you spell it Numerovatation. So I have come with something that is now in the Urban Dictionary. You could actually Google up and put it in the Urban Dictionary. It's there now. It says it's invented by King Simon Kwaku, and that's my spiritual African name. I mean, I was born on Wednesday, but I use, because of my study with various motivational speakers. Particularly, I studied with Lloyd Strayhorn, not Lloyd Strayhorn, with Les Brown for a whole month in 2005. And that was the most exhilarating experience I ever had. He gave us the different dynamics and different understandings. And since then, I've been studying all of them. I've studied Les Brown, I've studied Ian Levanzan, I've studied Lisa Nichols, I've studied Tony Robbins, I've studied Eric Thomas. And what I've done is use the numbers system and blended it with the motivation. So I call it Numerovation, which I use the numbers connected to your name and your birthday and give you guidance and give you some type of activating force behind your numbers, because your numbers can be activated. No matter what numbers you may have or what numbers may appear in your chart from your birth or your name and all that, whether it's a destiny number, life path number, whatever it is, I tell people always, don't get caught up in the label. Because one thing about numbers, it moves in waves. It's in waves. So 1 minute you might be, let's say you might be born April the 4th, and then 4 plus 4 is an 8. That 8 energy is a strong energy at certain portions of your chart. Yes, but it can always come back, even if it's not at the strongest point. It could always come back, because 8 always represents money, power, ancestral connection, old soul connection, and 4 represents structure and focus and organization. So I tell people, don't get caught up in, this is a destiny number, this is the best number, the life path is better than this number. No, it's not. Numbers are just symbols, because our people are about symbols and patterns. So what I do, like I said, is use the numbers connected to your name and your birthday and give you the motivational factor and the motivational energy behind it. Those who have done sessions with me 2 or 3 years ago, I'm totally different now. Especially people from out of UK or around the world, I'm totally different now, because I am no longer just doing numerology or astro. I touch on the astro, I touch on the astrology a little, but my main premise and my strength is numerovation, because we need motivation. You got many people that get read all the time, and I don't do readings. I got to let people know I don't like to call it readings, because it's really consultation. It's really trying to help you advise. People will call me or text me and want to do a session with me, and they all want to be read. I don't need to read you if you already know yourself. Like Lloyd did an excellent job, know how to run down everything. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it to take you to the next level? It might encourage you to say, let me look at that and all that. But the work starts from within after you get the information. And it's not like Queen of Four. You've been around Queen of Four. You've been around Baba Heru. It's not about the event that we all have been to. It's about the process. And the process can last 21 days. That's why she does a 21-day detox. The process can last 40 days. The process can last 40 years, depending on the individual and what time they want to let their DNA or their RNA explode to become the greatest of the greatest person they can be. Look, let me tell your audience, if I didn't understand these different modalities, you would not be talking to me today. If I didn't understand and have that foundation of motivation and these numerical and astrological motivations, I would not be here, because you're looking at a person that almost took his life 3 times. One at 8 years old, the other time was with my second wife, and the other time was in the club life. 3 times. But because now that I've grown to understand and I've listened to my inner voices, and not listen to the external pain and the hurt that I was getting from whether it was family that was dogging me out or friends that was dogging me out for my complexion when I was 8 years old, almost took my life in the bathroom. Then going to my dealing with my wife, going through all that stress of my second wife and almost took my life and their life. And then in the club life, not feeling like I belong here no more and all that kind of stuff, almost took my life in the club. I'm letting people know there's always hope. There's always chance. And once you tap in to understand who and what you are mathematically, astrologically, and DNA-wise, just knowing your bloodline, you will be successful. because it ain't over until we win. Like Baba Kaba Hiawatha said, it ain't over till we win. And so I use Numerovation to keep people motivated, to keep them on a high level. So when you watch me at certain times, I'm always keeping smiles and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I go through my down times. Yes, I go through upset times, but you can't let the upset times and the down times keep on controlling you, because if they take hold of you, that's the one that can take you out. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll drink to that.
The real talk just got dropped on you people, yeah. So please, I hope you're listening.
Oh yes.
I hope you're understanding what the brother was talking about when it comes to self-activation and understanding you are the master. Because again, you know, we're always looking, as the brother said, for things outside of us to motivate us, to inspire us. But the truth of it is, as he said, until you take it in, think it over, and act upon it within yourself, and as he said, listen to those inner voices, nothing ain't really going to work. You cannot rely on other external things to motivate you when push comes to shove. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, brothers, let me tell you something. It's been a painful journey, but it's been a joyful journey. It's been a painful journey, and I know tears are coming in my eyes because it's real. It's been a painful journey, but it's been a joyful journey, and I'm still cleansing, because sometimes it takes time, brothers and sisters. It does take time. All you have to do is know that your ancestors are with you. In the background, right here in my background, you see all my ancestors. This is my ancestral altar with my grandmothers and grandfathers from Cuba and Jamaica, between the two. That's my, and they come to me in my dream in different forms, or sometimes they come as themselves. But I'm glad that I paid attention, because even at the age of 8, and in numerology, because I'm born on the 1st of February, the 8 is one of my challenge numbers. So at 8 years old, I thought about taking my life in one of my challenge numbers. Think about it. I didn't know this science. So when I analyze it and look back into time, I said, oh, wow. And then at the next point of my life, when I tried to do it, I was in my 4 personal years in my life with my wife at that time. And then I was in my 7 personal year. The last time I thought about it in the club life, I was in, and those 2 numbers in numerology are the numbers of depression and worry. So we got to pay attention to the year we're in, the month we're in, the day we're in, because these vibrations are real, just like any radio station vibration. If you don't turn it to the right dial, you won't get the good lovers rock that you want to listen to. If you don't turn it to the right dial, you won't get to hear David Radigan, whom I'm a friend of also. You know, you won't get to hear these different people, because you have to have the right frequency and turn to the right dial. So when you know and understand your numbers, family, not just from a manual level, just by somebody just reading you and say, all right, you're number 3, so you're supposed to be expressing in your expansive, your growth and all that. That sounds good. What's the next step? You think I'm here to make you feel good? No, I'm here to give you some homework. At the end of the day, some internal homework. So each point in my life, when I thought about hurting myself, I realized that I was in certain cycles that were not conducive to my health. You understand? So that's real. I'm not doing this for play. I'm doing it from the sincerity of my heart. You know what I'm saying? And if any of you out there, brothers and sisters, that are doing the magic, because magic is not from hocus pocus and all that kind of, the magic is from the Magi's, and the Magi's were the ancient black ones that were able to create something out of nothing, or create something out of little of nothing. Go get that book, The Alchemist. Why not? Read it. Look at this book. And this is not even my book. This is Claudia Vaslaski. She wrote a book called Africa Counts, Number and Patterns in African Culture. Numerology, like Lloyd said, is an African teaching. It's just that they went and studied under our feet and carried it back to Europe. They went and studied under the Indians, the people of India, the people of Kemet, the people of Chaldea, and brought it back to make his people better. People don't know, study the history of Pythagoras. They exiled him. He went away for 22 years and studied and came back, and then became the father of numbers, or the father of mathematics. But in this book, they cover some ground. You put that book up again, I can show you better than I can tell you. Africa Counts. Very good book to have in your collection. Makes sense? Does it make sense? Oh yeah, I'm at it. Yo, and people that me and Terry know, Brother Africa, and I know y'all. A lot of you have seen Dr. Africa. In his newest book, he's running down numbers. His newest book, he's running down the numbers, the health connection to numbers and dominoes, the health connection to numbers and card playing, the health connection to all of that. And he shows you the methodology on how to use the cards and the numbers and the astrology and the numerology inside this book. So it connects to health. It connects to places you live. It connects to every dynamic of your life. That's why Lloyd has always put up the challenge. Like, look, if you can go a day without numbers, without using your phone, without looking at the clock, without doing this, without doing that, he will give you this amount of money. Lloyd has put up that challenge for many years because now numbers have become a part of our existence, but it's always been a part because the universe is mathematics. And if we didn't understand numbers to this day, we wouldn't be on the system that we're on now. We wouldn't be on the computer that we're on now because the numbers 01011, the binary code of the computers, deal with numbers. And people try to wipe away the zero. Every time zero is added to any number, it adds potential. So in my system, because not too many numerologists mention this, in my system that I have, let's say, refound because it's nothing new under the sun, my system, Numerovation, I look at not just your master numbers 11, 22, or 33. I look at the 10, the 20, or the 40 that might add up in your name, or the 50. But people that are born on the 10th, the 20, and the 30th, I look at them as master number potentials because zero adds potentiality and its highest potential either negatively or positively. Proof of this, I study people like Brother Polite. And people can say anything they want about Brother Polite. He's born August the 10th. He's been a gang leader and all that from his negative to what he's doing now and it's positive. People like young Pharaoh. He's been through jail. He's born August the 30th. He's been the negative when he's in his youngest life, and now he's becoming a master at what he does in this life. I pay attention. Rihanna born on the 20th of February. Rihanna, boom, my goodness. From what she came out of from little Barbados to what she is today. And she is a multi-millionaire about to become a billionaire just because of Cosmic. That's mastery because zero adds mastery. Until you understand the zero, that's when you'll know your potential. So anytime I see zeros popping up as far as 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s in people's chart, boom, I show them that they have that mastery. And if I see the master numbers 11, 22, and all that, I show them. If you're born, just like I think one of you are born in November, right? One of you born in November, right?
Yeah, I'm born in November 3rd.
I look at all of that. So even the month that you're born, the November, if you're born in October, that's a potential. That's why, because Dr. Africa taught us to look at things holistically. Don't look at it just linear. Don't look at things with cycles and spiral. That's how I look at it. And that's what makes me different. No, not to say that Lloyd don't know what I'm talking about. Lloyd knows what I'm talking about, but Lloyd been a television personality for so many years. He's kept it simple on that because he wants you to study. And I got the books out here for you to study. I'm not playing with y'all. Go get this book if y'all want to study. I want y'all to learn too. This one is written by Harish Johari. This one is an Indian numerologist who passed on some years ago. And this one is numerology with tantric, Vedic, and astrology, key to human behavior. And this guy is named Michael Brill. He used to be in NASA. What the hell is NASA doing with a numerologist? Come on now. Michael Brill was in NASA, and he says it in the back of his book. He said, Michael Brill, a numerologist since 1985, has worked with schools, business, the government, including 10 years with aerospace industry and 2 years with NASA. Numerologist. This was one of my first books after Lloyd book. This one is written by Helene Hitchcock, Helping Yourself with Numerology. I want you to study too and create your own lane or do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, family, at the end of the day, if you study astrology, numerology, and all that, you got to study yourself. You got to study your family. You start studying celebrities, and you start finding patterns that keep on coming back to you over and over again. Because any true science have three different segments of it, three basic segments: that it's repeatable, that it's observable, and that it's measurable. It's repeatable over time. You constantly keep on seeing these patterns in your family and all that. It's measurable. It's over time. You see it keep on coming back and showing itself because it's been measured over time. And then of course it's observable. You can observe this. I can observe it in my children. I can observe it in my grandmother. I can observe. You know what's so funny? One of my grandmothers on here, may she rest in peace, Grandma Rachie. She born July the 7th. And like I said, 7 is one of the mental numbers. 7 is one of the mental numbers. And I found out that she was checked into a mental facility in Jamaica years ago. How did that work? How did that work? It's a pattern. And then the last time I thought about taking my life, my father is the one that said to me, your grandfather took his life over a woman. And that last time that I took my life, I was thinking about the time when I took my life was when I tried to take my life was about my wife at that time. And my grandfather already did it. So it's in my bloodline that this can happen if we don't put it in check. You got to find out what's in your blood. Also, that's why it's holistically done. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to get into your ancestry. You got to go to ancestry.com or find out from your relatives what's going on. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I had my father or elders that I could talk to find out who did this, what did that, and why did this, and why my grandfather did that. Because now I realize I had it in my blood. Go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
Richie?
No, I was just really agreeing with what you were saying. When you were saying the 7th, my birthday September the 7th, isn't it?
Yes.
So
July 7th. She's born July 7th. July 7th.
I was just to that mental number side of the 7.
Mental numbers. Yeah. That's 4 and 7s are the most prominent mental numbers in the studies of numbers, because 4 is more depressive. And 7s are more of the worry and mental frustration. And then you got 5 and then 8. But those are the most stronger ones right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, in forms of numbers, I have this thing, right?
Yes,
which
sir.
I'm able to create and understand numbers and deities.
Yes.
But what I've established is that to be able to identify that one number, I always say that there is 2 influences, like a parent. You have 2 parents. Yes. So the numbers, the deities, like for instance, you might have a guardian that is one deity and another guardian is that one. It will influence the deities you are. Is there anything like that in numbers where, let's say for instance, we're all number 7, but then what would be our influences behind that number 7?
What would be our influence behind the number 7?
7.
The behind the number 7 would be the intuitive faculties of the number 7. Would also be the research, the analytical. But in a motivational numerovation perspective, it's a traveling number. But in your travels, it's to also study and learn things so you can bring it back, so you can enhance your spiritual growth and spiritual development. Because 7 is the number of visionary sight. That's one of the numbers of seeing things and being able to see in visions and pick up things in your dreams or your daydreams or your walking dreams. That's what that number 7 is so powerful for. And each one of the numbers have their motivational factor. And then when it comes to double, see, a lot like Brother Terry, a lot of people like to go a lot of numerologists like to just do the phatic symbol. And Lloyd does that. He does the phatic method where you add all the numbers until you get to your single digits, except the master number. Yeah. But in Chaldea, or in the studies of Chaldea or tarot, they do not do that, because they knew that the doubling of the numbers, and that's well documented in this book. He know that the doubling of the numbers was very important. And India respected him. Although he went and studied in England, India respected for what he did. And this is also documented in this book about the doubling of the numbers and the importance of recognizing the doubling of the numbers. So even if let's say you're a 7, right? Let's say you say 7. Boom. The other octaves or the other levels of the number 7 is 16, which adds up to a 7, and then 25, which adds up to the 7, which each one of those 16, if you study the number 16 in numerology and study under the compound or the composite number, the 16 is a number that if you do not plan things out, it can be very fatal for you for the number 16. But look at the 1 and the 6. Those vibrations of that numbers is real also. So in order for you to overcome that that fatalistic issue that can arise in the number 16, the 1 in numerology represents the creativity aspect, the willing to aspire to be the number 1 or the first, also in the willingness to be a trailblazer. And then the 6 represents the balance and love and understanding, and also represents forgiveness. So if you have creativity and the trailblazing attitude, meshing in with balance, forgiveness, and love for what you do and how you do things, and then adds up to the number 7, then the 7 is the spiritual assertiveness and the spiritual movement that you're supposed to use with your creativity and love and forgiveness. Now you got a business and a job now. Now you're creating something out of this. See, that's why I tell people, study all of it. Don't limit yourself to one. Don't limit yourself to just buying my book. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Get it? It's a good introduction, but I also put recommended reading in the back of the book so you can understand it. Don't limit yourself to just buying Lloyd's book. He studied numerous books. If you go to Lloyd's library in his house, he got over 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 books in his house. He studied. So it's very important that when you study numbers, when you say numbers like number 7, you got to know that when it comes to the other numbers, there's other dynamics to it, like 25. My father's born on the 25th. As a matter of fact, my father and Will Smith is born the same day, and Childish Gambino. So to tell me what's so interesting, y'all see Will as this outgoing person, as a Libra outgoing person, but there's times when he needs to be in his own headspace. But that 2 and that 5 represents the compassion that he has for what he does, and the 5 represents the freedom of adventure. That's why you've seen him do a bungee jump at the age of 50, or he want to do a helicopter ride, or he want to do some crazy stuff, because that 5 energy is still working in him. That 5 energy is still there, no matter if it adds up to a 7, and 7s like to be in the background and they just want to observe and watch and all that kind of stuff, which it is, as a 25 is the number of observant and watching and paying attention and listening more than you talk. But there's times when that 2 and that 5 want to come out and play also. See, you gotta understand the vibration of that 2 and 5. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important that people understand the numbers and the vibration that they're connected to, and those frequencies that they're connected to, especially from 7, 16, and 25. You know.
So there was some question. There was a question.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Oh, my birthday is July the 30th."
July. Okay, I think their birthday is July the 30th. Now, what's so interesting about that? 7 plus 30, and I like to look at, I look at the, like I said, holistically, but let's focus on their birthday as it is. Now, as it tells me when I look at their birthday, because that 30th have that master number impression, they need to write and expound more on whatever business that they're doing. First of all, they need to find out what they love from their very heart, because they're born under the sign of Leo, and Leo is connected to the heart. They need to do what they love to do, and what they love to do, they'll never work a day in their life. And then their alignment number, or the achievement number. What do I mean by the alignment number? Now, the numerologists don't talk about it. The only one that I've seen talk about it is this man, Michael Brill, and the other person, another person named Kevin Avery Quinn, who he got the information from. But there's a thing called the alignment number, or the achievement number. Some people might call it the first pinnacle. His alignment number is, that person's alignment number is a 37, which is a 10, which is a 1. So it tells me that that person has also a very strong personality. They got the gift of gab. And it also tells me that if they're going to do anything, they need to form a business around writing, expressing, drawing, art, music on multiple levels, and not second guess themselves. Stop being indecisive, and don't let people get on their nerves. Next.
Okay. See the question on board?
I am August the 13th. Please say something about me. My 2-year-old is January. Let's motivate this 2-year-old. Let's motivate this Now, August the 13th, you're born the same day as Queen of Four. Definitely. She's born the same day as Fidel Castro. They need August the 13th. They need structure. They need discipline. They need organization in order for them to accomplish what they want to do. And because the 1 and the 3 is there, and I see the 1 and 3. Remember, in the study of numerology, and let me go into this book because, like I said, I could show you better than I could tell you. In the study of numbers, the number 13 is called the number of power and dominion. So he or she who understands that 13, instead of going down the depressive route, instead of going down the annoyed route, you need to stay on the positive of being creative and being expressive in multiple ways. But also, if you use the number 13 wrongly, according to this book, it tells you it will wreak destruction. So if you go through depression on and off and all that because you're not feeding your mind the most positive and productive thing. So anytime I read somebody that's born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st of the month, I always tell them, listen to motivational speakers early in the morning. Why? Because early in the morning, according to their science, it says early in the morning, the more you listen to good things or positive things in the morning, it stimulates and stay in your mind all day because your brain wave operates on a higher octave early in the morning. And according to MIT, it says it takes 16 positives to knock out 1 negative. So this world is bombarded with negativity. So you got to constantly bombard your head with positive music, positive affirmation, positive knowledge, positive information all day. And now that person born on the 23rd, my son is born on the 23rd of January. One time they could be very scattered and all over the place. I basically raised in and out with his mom. This guy could be all over the skates. And now this person at 2 years old developed her to understand that she has to finish what she starts, whatever she do, and don't help her to not be scattered. And one thing about the number 23, because like Lloyd said on your channel, 23 is one of the most popular numbers as far as innovative and much more and successful number, because that's called the royal star of the lion or lioness. I like to say lion, where these books because these books are so old, they always tend to go towards only the male figures. But when I see it, it says this is called the royal star of the lion. So I'll say when I'm reading a woman, I say lioness, because it's a promise of success from superiors and protection from those in high places. So if this is one of those, if 23 is one of those numbers that is a protective numbers, you must always make sure you're protective, of course, because you're not only being protective by the person, that child is not only being protected by only you, the mother or the father, but it's also being protected by other entities around the energy. See, I look at it also spiritually, because I know that's a loving child just by reading her numbers. Very loving child, want to be all over there, jumping all over the place. I understand, but you got to learn that, got to make that child either be very compassionate about what do, be compassionate about what they do. They also got to be expressive about what they do, be willing to express and tell you, but they got to be focused and they got to be balanced in whatever they do and however they do, because the alignment number adds up to that 1 plus the 23 adds up to 24, which is a 6, and 2 represents compassion and love and that balanced frequency, but also the 4 represents structure and discipline is needed in order for them to accomplish what they want to do. And now that other person born February is that you're giving me too much here. Got a lot going on. Anybody? You got a lot going on. But there's they said a boy born July the 26th. That's what it is. July and granddaughter. What now? The 26th young person needs to learn about the balance and the spiritual and physical understanding of money and finance. Because not only is it a Leo energy, but also because 26 adds up to a number 8, which is the money energy. But in the compound number on science of numerology, 26 is also the number that has to be careful of bad advice, bad partnerships, bad relationships, or they will go through a ruin in their life. So they have to be very careful who they allow in their life, because the 26 that adds up to the 8 represents they got to be very careful of who are assets and who are liable or who are liabilities in their life. And they got to recognize who are assets and who are liabilities and get rid of the liabilities. Liabilities don't need to be in their life. The person born on the 26th. Now the granddaughter born on January the 11th. Now the 11th is a very masterful number. What's the name? Mary J. Blige is born on the 11th, January 11th. The great Mary J. Blige, of course, that great performer. And The 11 goes through a lot of relationship issues because not only are they a visionary, yes, they have visionary ideals, visionary goals on multiple levels. That's why she is who she is and she's accomplished what she's accomplished. However, if you notice about Mary J, all of her most successful albums is because of relationship issues. Because on the other side of the number 11, that's the number of treachery and deception by other people, according to the tarot numerologist. Very good in books. I'll get any books with tarot. That number 11 represents treachery and deception by other people. So in relationships on multiple levels, Mary J had to always be careful. Look, her husband is the one that took her in to try to get child support or try to get some kind of spousal report. So you got to be, because sometimes people born on the master number 11, they can have the enemy sleeping with them. And they don't even know it until the last minute. They don't even know it till the last minute. So pay attention. Number 2, I'm a number 2. Very intuitive, the number 2. But you're saying you're number 2. What that means? You're what? You're born May 2nd, the 3rd, or 2. What it means? The number 2 is always the end of the
2nd of September.
Born the 2nd of September. Now that's a whole different dynamic because first of all, you're Virgo number 2. So it tells me again, you got to pay attention to your intuitions and be careful of energy vampires, people who try to suck your energy, because not everybody deserves to be in your energy, because 2 is a very intuitive, very insightful number. And when you do have dreams, your dreams are very deep and vivid when you remember them. Also, water and earth is definitely one of your go-tos for relaxation. And you should be soaking in the water. And remember, according to metaphysics science, we got to understand that water is the natural lubricant or conduit between the spiritual and physical realm. So we should always try to use water as some type, especially people that are born on the water numbers like the number 2, 7, and people that are born on the water signs or earth signs. Try to use the elements connected to that sign or that water, that sign or that element to help give you the best foundational understanding and connection to the universe. Somebody born July 22nd, master number 22. Now check this out, July 27th. What's so 22nd? You not only have a master number in your birthday, the day you're born, but you have a master number when you add up the 7 plus the 22 adds up to 29, which is also a number 11. So again, somebody like yourself, be careful of people who try to deceive you. Not everybody that's in your circle is supportive of you. So you got to always not be paranoid, just pay attention, because your gut feelings is never wrong. Your gut feelings ain't never been wrong. It's just that you give people the benefit of the doubt when you're not supposed to give them the benefit. You got to read people. And then because you're master number 22, the 22 on the negative is the novice person, the person that gets surrounded by evil and don't know it until the last minute. So it adds up to a number 4, the lower frequency of the 22. And that, like Lloyd said, is the number of secret haters. And it's not your fault. People just have that energy and they just know your potential. So anytime I see master numbers, I always tell them you're like eagles that are hanging out with chickens. Stop hanging with chickens and start flying with the eagles. I don't know if y'all have Kentucky Fried Chicken over there, but I tell you, you never heard of a Kentucky Fried Eagle in your life, because those are rare birds. This is your master number. You need to fly like an eagle. That's what you need to do. All right, who's laughing over there?
Me killing it. Like, I love it.
It's rare to find an eagle in a chicken place. Unless they're going to get some food.
Right.
Okay.
Unless they're on the hunt.
Somebody, new Black World Order. I know, just according to your numbers, you're born the same day as my brother. Very positive, very positive. He's been through a lot of stuff. You've been through a lot in your life. That's all I know. But I tell you one thing, and you're born 1970. What's so interesting? Let's deal with the 2 numbers that you have there, and then I'll talk about the year. What's so interesting about that is that your alignment number, which is a 36, because 11 plus 25 is a 36, equals a number 9. The problem is, stop talking your way out of things and start visualizing yourself into things, because the number 25 is the observant and the listening number. You should learn to observe and listen first before you make moves. You got to plan before you make moves, but visualize. Get into your meditation and learn to visualize. And also, because your alignment number adds up to a 36, the 3 and the 6 adds up to a 9, and 9 says finish what you start. Stop talking your way out of things because you think too much. You're in your own head when you need to visualize how you want to move and have a vision board for how you want to move and do things. If you want that new black world order, you got to visualize it and you got to finish what you start, and the new black world order will work for you and your family. And then you're born in 1970. Let me just say something about that. That adds up to a 20. It adds up to 2006. 2 and 6 is 8. That tells me you're an old soul. You still like old school music. You like old school ways. I got that. But also it tells me you need to master finance on a spiritual and physical level. Listen to Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike, I don't care what you think about Christianity and all that. Reverend Ike was a metaphysics teacher. He knew how to teach that scripture and that Bible from the metaphysics level and show you how to understand it. So because you're born on the 26, or because your life path is a 2006, which is an 8, and I see that 26 when I remove those zeros, I see that 26. Stop making wrong decisions in regards to finance and your life, and start making right decisions by studying finances, mastering finances, and taking it to the next level, because you're supposed to be running your own business. I'm still talking to 11/25/1970. Now let's talk November 12. Oh my goodness, you got similar numbers like brother KT, the arts degree, but KT is born November 3rd. Which is
that's my birthday.
I know that's your birthday. I know, Terry. I know your birthday. Both you and KT born the same day. So that's right. And that's why he is so flamboyant in what he does. But this person being born on the number 12 has a different energy because they got the 1 and 2 energy before it. Now, what's so interesting about them is that if you, as a number 12, remember in the tarot numerology or the Chaldean system of numerology, let me read something to you about the number 12. It says the 12 is a symbol of a number that's suffering and anxiety of the mind. Y'all go through anxiety of the mind a lot, and is the number of sacrifice and being a victim to other people's bullcrap. You got to always speak up in a timely fashion because you know how to talk. You know how to chat. And I think because you're a Scorpion, you definitely will fight and put it in. But you always got to, if people that's born under the Scorpion energy with that number energy, I always tell them, look, if you're going to talk to anybody, please talk to them with respect. Please talk to them with care and understanding, because your words can cut deep, especially being born under the Scorpion energy, which is ruled by the number 9. And then you being the number 3, number 12, which is a 3, which can be reckless. And I tell people, and people like yourself, Terry, you can't be reckless with your mouth, because if you remember in your past when you've been reckless, you've been very hurtful to people when you say things. If you remember your past and how you spoke to people, and remember, words can really cut deeper than even bones be broken. That can cut deeper. You know what I'm saying? So people born under your numbers, whether it's November 3rd, November 12th, or November 21st, or November 30th, each one of them have different levels and different understanding. As a matter of fact, I'm writing my new book called Numerovation and Mental Stability. Numerovation for Mental Stability is going to come out in a few months. That I implore everybody to get that book, because it's going to show you each number and how to stabilize any type of mental issues you might come up with and go through. No, Terry, I'm Sag. I'm December 2nd. Who's that? Melanated Goddess. What's up, Melanated Goddess? And that's what you are. You born December 2nd. You born the same day as Barbara Ann Tier. Only Terry would know who that is. That's the person that owned the National Black Theater. Yeah, you're born the same day as the Irritated Genie. The Irritated Genie. Those who know who Irritated Genie ain't gotta know. And one thing about those people born under that number, again, the intuition is there, but the Sagittarius energy tells me that you need to learn to assert your intuition. The powers that you get or download from the intuitive world, you have to assert it and make things happen. Don't be scattered. Just finish what you start and do what you got to do, because that December plus the 20, because that December, which is the 12th month plus the 2nd, equals the number 14, which is in the compound number of numerology. 14 is a number that can deal with masses of people, combinations of people, but they got to stay structured. They got to be disciplined. They got to stay creative in whatever they do and however they do. And then the sign of a Sagittarius is the entertainment sign, but it's also a fire sign that says you're supposed to assert whatever you download from the universe. converse because you can actually do multiple things on multiple levels. Next.
Okay.
I got to get ready to go, but I just want to make sure everybody's good. All right. Yeah. Okay, somebody born on October the 6th. That's one of my ex-girlfriend, born October the 6th. Woo, she was something else. Lord have mercy. So my D Nice, big up to you. Definitely being born under the number 6 is one of the musical numbers, one of the loving numbers. But anything you do, D Nice, you have to heal people. Whether you're doing music, whether you're doing art, whether you're doing writing, you have to heal. Your alignment numbers are number 16. So again, that 16, like I said earlier, you got to plan out what you do. You got to make sure you dot every I, cross every T, make sure all the pros and cons are done before you move forward. And then because you're born in that year, 1973, that means your life path is, your life path adds up to a number 9. So it says you got to finish what you start. Don't second guess yourself. Don't become hard-headed. Just do what you have to do to finish what you start, and you will accomplish your goals. Even on an international level, October 6th, July 30th, married to a February. Woo! Now, let me show you how that can work, because those are two expressive numbers, and both of them are born. One is a Leo, one is Aquarius, and those are two opposition. Now, instead of being opposition on the negative side, y'all can be opposition on a more supportive side. So when I look at the numbers 30 plus 12, see, now people don't even do this. A lot of numerologists don't do this. It's 42. So it tells me in order for that relationship to stay strong, they have to have clear communication with each other. They have to be transparent with each other. They have to be disciplined with each other. They have to dot every I and cross every T in how they discuss things with each other. And then they have to have compassion and love that adds up to that's 4 and 2. I'm dealing with the 4 and 2, then it adds up to the 6. Once you have that clear communication and compassion and love for each other, then it will grow into a higher love, higher understanding, and the reciprocity and the reciprocation of love for each other will come out. Just by me adding up the two numbers, let me know that. See, I do compatibility relationship sessions too, which cost much more because I got to do all the math of your name and your birthday and all that kind of stuff. And I give you the bull crap and I give you the good, because if y'all two are too arrogant to sit down and talk and converse in a proper and transparent way, then it won't work. Period. Like that. Point back, period. The relationship won't work. And any relationship won't work if they do that. But just by looking at your numbers, tell me that, because you already got an opposition sign, and that fire sign against the air sign, although it can work together, y'all are opposite on the chart of the zodiac, and y'all need to always overcome, because Leo represents I rule, Aquarius represents I know. So you might hear, the Aquarius is gonna have to bow down and show love. Show love, but the Aquarius is such a rebel. They don't want to show no love. They got to keep things moving. They ain't got no time to be playing with you. So y'all have to have a certain balance and understanding. That's why it adds up to a 42, which represents the 6, which is a balance and understanding. So y'all need to have balance and love and respect for each other on all types of levels. I'm a psychic healer. My guides are telling me to meditate on numbers. What numbers do you suggest? My birthday is January 12th, 1980. Okay. One thing, because you're born the same day as Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, my soldier, my friend, late great Dr. Khalid. January 12th. Let me look at those numbers right now. Okay, let's look at the 4, which is a 13. Let's look at why y'all changed that date. I was still trying to figure out January 12th. I'm still trying to give me my girl here. I'm trying to get her stuff up. I'm trying to hook her up. All right, 1980. See, I'm not a quick mathematician. I got my computer. I ain't playing with y'all. Look, that Lloyd threw all that out of his head, and he said he was not good at math either. But I got my computer. 1993. So let me give you some key numbers, especially when you're born on the 12th. All the 3, 6, and 9 are your power numbers according to the study of basic numerology. But when I look at it, I see the 4, I see the 12, I see the 3, and I see the 4 again. So those are good numbers to work off of. That's 4, 3, 4. And let me look at the angel book. This is a good book to have, family. This book is called Angel Numbers 101. Let's go into this book and see what the 434 says about this young lady, because that's what I see, 434, when I just did her numbers. Now, 434, those numbers, 434 says, Give any worries or concern to the angels and the ascended masters who are embracing you right this minute with healing love. So you being a psychic and you being a healer, what this for? Look what 444. Look at I don't think it can be said. Look what 443 said in this book. Look what it said in the book. You're doing exactly. You do what you're supposed to do. But those are the numbers you should focus on. Boom, put that down. And this is a good book to have. It gives you basic interpretations of it, but it's a good. When I look at the 434, 434, that's 4 plus 3 plus 4 equals the number 11. It's a master number 11. So it tells me you always have to have a vision for what you do and make sure you plan what you plan and make things happen. Always have a vision board. Always do what you're supposed to do. Don't second guess your talents and your abilities, because again, looking at the year you're born, which is very important. That year you're born adds up to the number 9, because 1 plus 9 plus 8 equals 18, which is a 9. So it says you have to finish what you start. Finish what you start. That's the completion. So 434 is one of the power numbers as far as your angel numbers that I just seen personally on my own quick reading. Get on that 434 and work that 434 and complete whatever you're supposed to do. Who's next? I'm sorry. Whoa, October the 10th. This got to be the last one because I got to get ready.
One more after this and that's it.
Okay, one more after this. Okay, so this person here, definitely you're born under a master number. See, I look at it and I see master numbers. See, 1010 to me is a master numbers. And although it adds up to a 20, remember in numerology, the 20 is the number of awakening and the number of judgment according to tarot numerology, but it's also the number of new purpose, new goals, some great things you're supposed to do. Now, mind you, I'm looking at the 10 plus the 10 first. That equals 20. And like I said, 20 is the number of the great awakening. And if you're not if you're not working that number to its highest level, then you're going to go to its most lowest level. So please understand. And because you're a 10, you're supposed to run your own business. You got your master number potentials that are strong. You just got to stop second guessing yourself. And because I think that person was born what year? What year was that person born? I want to touch that person year.
1960.
1960, because that person was born 1960, again, it adds up to 1980. That says throughout your life, you've been very indecisive, second guessing your power of doing certain things. Although you have the power of the wheel of fortune energy around you, you've second guessed your abilities and your thought, when in actuality, because your life path is a number 9, you always had to think on a higher level and finish what you was giving the task to do. So you got some master. You're supposed to be writing. You got a lot of writer's abilities. You got a lot of business abilities. You got to step into your greatness. Even at your age, you can't even complain just because you 1960. Let me see. 2020, take away 1960 equals, just because you're 60 years old, they have no excuses. The Kentucky Fried Chicken started his business after he was 60. After he was 60, he started his business, and that's when he got successful. Let's stop playing. So I don't care what age you are, where you at in life. If you have the willingness to either write or talk or do computers or do what you're doing online, you have the propensity to be successful at any level of your life. Right now, you're in your wisdom cycle. I'm talking to that person born in 1960, and your wisdom cycle says, release all your wisdom in your writing, in your creations, and give it to your family. Leave it for your family. This last one is born January 3rd. 1986. Let's get that down on paper before you erase it. Hold on, let me get that on paper before you erase it, because I know you fast with the hands, Terry. I like that. I like that. So again, 1 plus 3 plus 1986 equals 1990. Great numbers for me. That adds up to a number 1. That means your life path is a number 1. Again, with you, the alignment numbers are number 4, because 1 plus 3 equals 4. That's what we call the alignment. And the achievement number 4 represents the discipline that you need and the structure that you need and the organizational skill that you need, even time management. Because you love your freedom, you can be scattered and be all over the place. Your 4 is the one that's telling you need to always hone your powers, discipline your powers, structure yourself, and accomplish the goals by moving forward. Also, you're supposed to be ruling and running your own business. I hope you did start your own business. And let me see what year you're in right now. 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus The year that you're in is a number 6, 7, 8. You're in a number 8 year. This is a good year for you to start a business, although it might be a little challenging because 8 is one of your challenge numbers to a certain degree. It's really 5, but 8 is another challenge if you're not focused, if you're not willing to discipline yourself. This is an 8 year which deals with money, enterprising, business, but it's also a number of loss of money, loss of business, but it's also a good year for you to get into ancestral connections, dealing with elders that can be helpful and can give you guidance, judgments that can be giving you guidance and helping you on multiple levels. Those that don't know what the word judgment means, it means accountable elder from the Ethiopian word. And because your life path is a number 1, your assertiveness as being one in the group, being number 1 in what you do, if you put your stuff down on paper as a motivating factor, don't hold it in your head. Person born on January 3rd, don't hold it in your head. Always write and journal because that's the journalistic number. And you're supposed to write, produce music, do audiobooks, whatever you're on any multiple levels. You got all this at your disposal. If you turn it on, it's up to you. If you don't turn it on, it's up to you. But remember, comfort is the enemy of progress. I'll say it again. Comfort is the enemy of progress. And what I said in my new book, I got 4 levels of this. Either you're going to be constructive, either you're going to be obstructive, either you're going to be destructive, or you're going to be complacent. You got to choose the 4. It's up to you. Constructive, obstructive, destructive, or complacent. I choose to stay constructive. My brothers and sisters, I love y'all, man. I had a good time.
Listen, you have laid it down today. I'm so privileged for you to come onto Black Eyes TV 7. People, he just did some big speed reading on a whole load of you, so I want to see them likes getting hit.
Hit me up. Give them my number if they want to do a session with me.
The details are in the
please find out for reason, my brother.
Right. They can text me via WhatsApp. They gotta text me via WhatsApp because it's free, especially if you're outside of the United States. If you're inside of the United States, then you can just text me right here. But outside, text me via WhatsApp and I'll send you the connection to the link. I'm really backed up all the way into next week because I got a first pay, first serve thing, but if you book it, I'm gonna definitely get to you. I'm very upright.
We got to get you back. Huh? We gotta get you back,
man. We gotta talk about the music world because I got the reggae. Yeah, I got all the
100%. We need to talk about the music world.
You know, I used to bring in the Dennis Brown. I mean, this is my book. Everybody can get this book. No promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. No promotion is bad promotion. All publicity is good publicity. Just spell my name right. You'll find me with Shabba Rankins. You'll find me with Beanie Man is on there. You can find me with Ken Booth. You find me all of that. This is me, man. This is my life. I grew up in this.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. So definitely we have to book you in once again to come in and bless your presence once again.
I would love to talk about
a little bit of news of what's going on in New York because you know, as this thing, we can't fly, we can't do that, so we don't know what's going on. So you give us a pure insight of what's happening with New York, especially if you're close to the Queen and many other scholars. You can just give us a good insight in what's going on.
You want that now, or you want the next time we come back?
When you come back the next time.
Don't worry, brother.
I know.
We're gonna hit it hard for the people.
Queen is traveling and doing her thing in California and all over the place. So you know.
Yeah, she's staying in the West. So you know she's doing her thing over there, and hopefully she'll come and bless her presence over here. And Supernova's already done his one.
Yes, I see Supernova. He's another Aquarian like myself, so big up to Supernova all the time. Also, I want to just big up people. Listen to my podcast. It's King Simon Present. I got Ashra Kwesi coming in on the 6th. And Ashra Kwesi don't do this. He don't
That's
do
it, big knowledge.
He don't do this. And so because he's going to be there. May the 6th. Huh?
You got to do the hookup for us.
Yeah. Because
for us.
He's very particular. He's very particular because he don't like technology, but because I've been so supportive of him and done so much stuff for him, you know, like Dr. Africa, he'll show us love. That's just how it is.
No doubt. And when Ashra Kwesi was over here last, he was chilling with us for a piece.
Oh, really?
So exactly.
So when you say Terry, you know how.
I'll give you his office number, and you call him and you set it up. That's all.
That's so.
If you
Enough
already
love.
know him, you hung out with him. Then that's good. I want because he don't like technology because he knows this on technology is when people started getting real disrespectful of the elders, and he don't like that. He really don't like that, and I don't like it. I tell most of these guys, I told most of them to their face that look, you disrespecting elders today. Believe me, you're going to be disrespected later when you get older too.
Exactly.
And I got to shout out one historian out there. I wanted to bring him. He's born August 26th. The name is Robin Walker. Big up to Robin Walker. I really love this book. I still got his book on my shelf here. I wanted to bring him into town. I did hit him up on Facebook, but we wasn't able to do any of that work yet. But I heard he got great.
Sort the link up.
You got that link.
Yes, he responded to me, and we did link up through Facebook, but we wasn't able to coordinate and make it happen the way we want to make. But shout out to him if he's watching, and shout out to all of the people out there in the UK, man. I love you. I can't wait till I get my papers right. I will be out there because I have family out there that wants to see me. I haven't been out there, and I've never been out there in my life. I haven't been out there in my life. So my mother and them go out there, but I never been out there because I was so busy working and doing what I was doing over here. You know, the work continues. You know, but family.
So peace, love, and harmony. Yes. Okay. Today we have a big situation in the fact that we will have a 9 o'clock appointment, which there was supposed to be a show at 9. It might be late. It's going to be put till 12 because the person that's supposed to come, Asar, can only do it for around 12 o'clock. So people that can't make it for tonight, you can able to catch the recording tomorrow, but it's about the ancient calendar. So if you're awake, I'm telling you, this information is vital. So you can able to understand how the calendar works and how it maneuvered and the festivals that they were doing in the Egyptian times. So it's going to be a powerful presentation. So if you are around 12 o'clock, please do tune in, and as I say, I will pass it to Richie. Rich.
Yes, people. Yes, still people. I'm still there. Listen, big up to everybody again for joining us. Big up to everybody who did like the video. And again, if you haven't pressed the button, go ahead and press that shit. As Terry said, look out for the show later. And again, if you're feeling this show, go back, look in the archives. There's plenty of other shows that we've done with all sorts of teachers, elders, organizations and institutions in the community here in the UK and in the USA. So go and check that out. Big up to everyone again. Look out for us later. Peace. Black power.
Yes. So as I always say, spend black, believe in black, move black, shop black, feel black, make sure your heart's black, and enjoy your Saturday as Black Eyes TV is always black.
We're still on the air. Play that shit.